This is part 3 in regards to the 1976 decision by the Supreme Court that gave prosecutors and district attorneys complete absolute immunity for for them practicing prosecutorial misconduct. Now, I'm going to talk about a case that prosecutors was practicing prosecutorial misconduct and pretty much got away with it. Um, and this is one of the cases that kind of got on my nerves. It was the Conwick versus Thompson, 563 U.S. .51 in 2011. Held that a district attorney office cannot be sued for failing to train prosecutors on their duty to disclose exculpatory evidence like evidence of the innocence. So pretty much John Thompson, he spent 18 years incarcerated, wrongfully convicted of a crime. He spent 18 years incarcerated, 14 of those years on death row, so meaning pending death, that he could have pretty much lost his life due to these prosecutors practicing prosecutorial misconduct. No telling what happened. It could have been that the prosecutor or the police officer coerced a witness, anything, falsifying evidence, anything. I mentioned this in part 1 and part 2, what is prosecutorial misconduct and how they get away with it. So pretty much this guy spent 18 years in jail, 14 of those on death row, even though there was evidence, because of course I read the case briefing. It said, according to the case briefing, it says even though prosecutors had reports showing that the blood type of the true perpetrator did not match, Thompson, after he was exonerated, Thompson brought a civil case against the Orleans Parish District Attorney Office to seek damages for the 18 years he spent wrongfully incarcerated. The jury found the DA office failed to properly train its prosecutors about their constitutional duty to disclose evidence and awarded Thompson $14 million. Let's stop there. The key thing that I read in that is the prosecutors failed to train their people that's under them, other prosecutors, about prosecutorial misconduct and what to do and what not to do. Even if a DA doesn't properly train those under him, they all protected under absolute immunity. So you can't, as let's say I'm an attorney, and let's say my client was victimized by prosecutorial misconduct, and let's say Thompson's, well, I just read you guys about Thompson case. Let's say Thompson sues my whole office, sues the DA's whole office, and let's say Thompson found out that this DA wasn't properly trained to handle this case, or he should know what's right and what's wrong. Well, that's a weak argument in the court of law, because even those that the district attorney mistrained or even trained or didn't even train properly, they are still protected by the 1976 Supreme Court decision of absolute immunity. It doesn't matter if he's properly trained or not, and he's sent to jail or not, 14 years or not, 18 years or not, you wrongfully conviction or not. Even those who are not trained in the district attorney's office, everybody in an office is pretty much as under the umbrella of a prosecutor. I'm not talking about like your people that answer the phone and stuff like that. I'm talking about the DAs, like head DAs, and those are under him, and even new DAs that they train. It doesn't matter if they was mistrained or not; they are still protected by the 1976 decision by the Supreme Court. Now, let's continue with the story. Now, a lot of people might see this video and say, "Hey, he was awarded some money. Why does it matter?" This is why it matters. Not because he spent all those years in jail, because he can't buy that back. $14 million over freedom is nothing. But let's continue with the story. Thompson's $14 million. He got awarded that. Now, but the Supreme Court reversed that award and removed yet another avenue of holding prosecutors accountable. Notably, one of the prosecutors in Thompson's case was responsible for sending 5 other men to death row. Let's pause there. So he had I'm guessing, I'm not going to say I'm guessing. Let me take that back. A panel of district attorneys that was working on the Thompson case. One of those attorneys is also responsible for that was working with the main district attorney, because let's say it was 3 or 4 of them. One of the prosecutors that was working under the main prosecutor for this Thompson case, he's also responsible for practicing prosecutorial misconduct. So not only did not only was Thompson victimized by prosecutor A, he was also victimized by prosecutor B. This same prosecutor was responsible for sending 5 other men to jail and getting away with it. You see how it works? Everybody in that whole office is protected, and they know that they're protected. So let's continue with the story. All right, it says, okay, notably, one of the prosecutors in Thompson's case was responsible for sending 5 other men to death row. Of those 6 men, 5 ended up having their convictions reversed because of prosecutorial misconduct. You see how this works? So everybody in this system, in this district attorney and prosecutor system, know that they're protected. So even though if it doesn't matter if it's for stealing a candy bar or it doesn't matter if it's for murder, they are protected. So and this is like I'm telling you this right now. This is a common thing, and a lot of people might see this video and say, "Hey, you know what I mean? I kind of remember my cousin telling me that, the blood didn't match." Or you might, or one of your loved ones might be in jail right now, and your cousin can, or your loved one, or your family member, your friend, might be like, "Man, I'm really innocent. I really wasn't there. They talking about they seen my blood there, but I never dropped any blood. I ain't got no scars on me that show that I dropped any blood. But they talking about they got my blood or my fingerprints. I didn't touch nothing." And I'm not saying that everybody that come up with that story is innocent, but I want you guys to listen to these videos that I'm telling you guys about about the Supreme Court giving these people all this power. They're giving people this power, and these people that has this power, they know that they have this power, and what they're doing is they're taking advantage of it. Not all, but majority. And what's going to end up happening is, and what is happening now, is a lot of people are in jail. Like I showed you on this article right here. What I showed you in this article, I'm gonna read it to you guys again. DPIC analysis finds prosecutorial misconduct implicated in more than 550 death penalty reversals or exonerations. It's a real common thing. So we're gonna do another part where I'm gonna break down some cases that I've researched on, and I'm gonna go over the races, of course, and I'm gonna read you the briefing and read you what happened and what happened to the prosecutors, which was nothing. But I wanted to show you some of the common things that is going on in these cases, because prosecutorial misconduct is a very common thing.